Hey, you guys, today we're going to talk about why women are so selective. And I hope that this will help guys really understand why women are so selective when choosing sexual partners. You have to understand that despite our modern conveniences and electronics and computers and food delivered to your home by a driver, sex is still primal, okay? We still get pregnant. We still nurse babies with our breasts. We still have periods. We still poop and pee and eat and breathe. And sex is also primal. And in the mating dance, a woman pretty much is more in the submissive role. And we like that, right? We like to be in the submissive role. Women love to be dominated sexually and pinned down and fucked well. Deep down, every woman, I believe, craves to be fucked well by a man that isn't just going to fuck her and leave, but I digress. So we like sex and we're selective. And over the years, as I've thought about this, I have come up with a new way that I think I could explain it, because basically we're prey and you're the predator, you're the guy. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but in a way that we're prey, we're submitting to you. We're submitting to you because you're physically stronger and you want to penetrate us. Okay, you want to put a part of your body inside our body. And I want you to really think about that, because I don't think men have thought about it enough. That what would make a woman allow herself to want you close, to want to be underneath you, and to have you insert your body, whether it's your finger or your penis, into her mouth, into her vagina, into her ass, but let's just say penis into her vagina. And for that, all kinds of primal things come up, okay? It's not just like, I like sex, any guy will do. No, because we're the prey in that animal sense, and we're going to be submissive, and we evolve to be selective, and we have to be selective. Every child that is neglected is the fault of the mother for not being selective, unless, of course, she was, violated. I don't have to go into why we're selective. It's a well-known fact that we're selective, that we evolve to be selective. But even with birth control and all of that, what is that? And I want to explain this to guys in a way that I think you can get. If you as a man had to submit to another man, and I'm not talking sexually, I'm going to give you some other examples so you can kind of get the feeling of it. Because it's about who do I want near me, and who do I trust? Not just trust to care about me during sex, but also to care about me after. And do I want this person close to me? So let's go into some examples. Typically, men are bonding and relying for their life on other men in settings like, if you're a police officer, you're a firefighter, you're in the military, you rely on the men in your group for your life. And these men are all vetted and they're trained, and it's in a work setting, but you rely on these guys. These guys are vetted. You, as a military man, are not going to put your life on the line out in the trenches with some homeless guy on the beach, okay? You want to know that this guy is vetted by the military and he's trained and that he cares about you. They have this really close brotherhood, these guys. When men rely on other men for survival, they pick men that they have a brotherhood with, men that they trust, okay? And there are probably codes of conduct, whether you're in a men's club or any of these men's spaces. But let's go into a scenario if you're not in that kind of situation. Let's say that you as a man are going to buy property with someone or start a business with someone, either one of those. And now you have to trust this person with your financially. You have to trust this person to be financially responsible. if the, let's do the house, you're buying a property together and you have to count on this person to have your best interests at heart. You're vulnerable. Let's put it that way. You're vulnerable in this situation. You have to pick the right guy. You can't just do this with any guy. Is this guy financially responsible? Does he keep his word? Does he have integrity? You know, is he stable? Can I count on him? Those kinds of things are going to come up in your mind. You're not going to just buy a property with any guy, even if he's got money. He's like, I've got money, I'll buy this property with you. Can you count on him when something goes wrong? You know? So that's money. Same with the business. Say you want to start a business with someone. Say you have the idea and he's got the capital, or say you both put money in. You're going to trust this guy. You have to trust this guy. This is the kind of trust that a woman needs to have sex with a man, because we're vulnerable. We're more vulnerable. Let me give you another example that's more physical related, okay? So let's say that you're playing a game. This is just going to be a game, but it could end, you could end up in some pain, but you're not going to die if this game goes badly, okay? Let's say there's a game where it's like, I don't know, let's say it's a day-long game. And in this game, you are transported to the Arctic, somewhere in the Arctic for the day. You're going to be dropped off at 6 a.m. Well, let me see. Let's just pick a cold place in Colorado, okay, in the winter, in a blizzard, okay? They're going to drop you off at 6 a.m. outside of Denver, let's say, in a blizzard, and this is the game. You have to pick two guys, and these can't be people you know, because we're talking about hookup culture now. You have to find two men that you do not know. You do not know these men. You do not know these men. You have to go on an online dating app or meet them at the gym or however you expect as women to just be open to being fucked. You have to find two men and that you trust, and the job of these men will be, they have to be there at 6 a.m. and they have to bring you clothes, because you're going to be dropped off in a t-shirt, okay? So these men have to be there at 6 a.m. They have to bring you coats and some food and then get you back into the city, because you're going to be like 20 miles outside the city. So I'm setting up like this wilderness scenario that's primal, where you as the man have to count on these other men to actually show up, to keep their word, to actually keep their word. That's a big thing. To show up, to care about you, and to protect you when you're vulnerable. And this is a game, so if they don't show up, you know, you might get cold, you'll walk back to the city, you'll be fine, you're not going to die, but... And then say that you find these two guys that you trust, but how are you going to go about vetting these guys with your life? Okay? They have to care about you and they have to show up. And say you've played this game before and you've had guys that actually show up because they like the experience of, you know, it's a fun workout for them. They're really into fitness and working out. And you really bond with these guys because they took care of you and they were so nice. And they even brought you maybe some hot chocolate and they were so interesting. And you thought, well, maybe we can be friends. These guys are super cool. I can go play poker with them or go shooting with them. And then after they drop you off at your home, they're like, see you later. And then you never hear from them again. They ghost you because it turns out you were just an interchangeable lump of weight that they like to carry. They just like to carry weights. It makes them stronger. And now they blow you off. So the next time you do this exercise, you're going to pick someone who won't blow you off. You're going to pick guys who are going to do all that, but they're going to care about you and want to be friends with you after. They're not just using you to build their muscles. And that's how we women feel. We don't want to just be used for you to get your dick wet. And we want to know that the guy's going to show up, that he's going to care about us and all of that. So I hope those were some good examples to help you see how we as women, like I always think, do I want this guy on top of me? And don't forget, these guys that you pick, you know, they can't have bad breath. They can't be stinky. They can't be, losers, frankly. They can't be alcoholics. They have to be reliable and emotionally stable. And it's going to be hard to find people like that because also, in addition to all of that, you need them to be single. You have to find other guys who are single because that's just the rule of the game. It's going to be very hard to find guys like that, and that's what I'm telling you. That's why it's so hard to find anyone for dating or anyone for fucking, because these guys will just they don't understand. I was talking to someone today, a friend of mine that is going through like a hookup phase. He's in his, I would say, early 30s, and he tells the women he hooks up with, I do not want a relationship. He tells them, he's very honest. But usually after he dicks them down really good, they're like, oh, I really want to see you again. I'm going to lock you down and stuff like that. And he's like, no. But women are more emotional creatures. If the sex is good, we want to see you again. We do not like to be blown off. And so we're very selective. And I'm like, and men are not beauty objects. And so that's the other point. Since men are not beauty objects, the way that you get us to want to have sex with you is how you treat us and your energy. I'm reading this book right now, which is super good, Jackie and Maria. And I'm just amazed how this extremely ugly, disgusting, gross Aristotle, what's his name? Onassis, that rich guy, Onassis. I would never fuck this guy. I do not give a shit about his money. He's gross. But he seduced these women through his charm, through his conversation, through the romance. He seduced them. That's how he does it. He's just charming, understanding, talks to them, listens. He does this whole courtship thing, and then he has these affairs with all these women. And he's not a beauty object. And don't tell me it's just his money, because money doesn't make women wet. Your money may want a woman try to get with you, but it's not going to make her wet. What makes them wet is how he treats them, okay? He's very romantic and charming with them. So the point I want to make, since men are not beauty objects, is how you treat us. And that's what these incels don't get. They're so angry that women don't want to fuck them. Well, if you're so angry, you're a threat. Like, if you're a man going out into the wilderness, would you want to pick two men who hate men? That doesn't feel very safe or enticing or fun. Okay, so now let's switch gears and talk about the women. After I got divorced, I spent, or right towards the end of, the end of my marriage, I started having sex with some women. My ex-husband didn't mind. He didn't feel threatened by it. Because I was so unhappy in my marriage sexually. Anyway, and then when I did, I started having hookups with lesbians. Now, lesbians have sex very differently from men, because they don't want to just meet for coffee and fuck. There's always a lunch or a brunch or a dinner or an overnight and emails and texting. And they will say things like, I still remember your scent on my, what do they say here? This one said, your scent is still on me and brings up memories of being so deep inside you. Or this one, when she was finger fucking me in her car with her kids, toddlers' backs, car seats in the back, she said something like, feel me when I text you, or when I tell you, feel me. I want you to remember this and feel me. Like, it's a lot more emotional stuff. And this one woman, and she was just hooking up with me. I was falling asleep and she was just checking out my whole arm and looking at it. It's like, oh, every dimple and stuff. She goes, I just want to know every part of your body. And I was so tired, I was already falling asleep. And it was just a hookup for her. This is how women are. Very different from men when it comes to sex. Very different. And so, but when I was in this phase, and I met them on Match.com, when I was on this phase of exploring with women, there was no longer this dynamic of who asks who out, because I'm like, well, I'm with a woman, so I guess I have to start asking them out. So I started thinking what it would be like for a woman. Sometimes I think about what it's like to be a man approaching a woman. What would a woman want? How do I approach a woman? And it's good to be decisive. If I wanted to meet a woman for something and I was initiating, I would schedule a meeting or lunch in her part of town. What kind of restaurants do you like? Okay, how about this place? Do you have a favorite place near you? I would make it kind of about her. I would make it about her, not in a people pleasing way, but the woman, you gotta emotionally get into the woman. I also notice when I wear jackets that are a little bit more masculine, like my Ariat jacket, women check me out. Or if I sit like this, women are very drawn to signs of masculine presence, even in me. I notice it. They kind of glance, like if I happen to be sitting like this, they'll pick up on that. Taking up space, wearing a more masculine shirt. I'll put the jacket on so you can see. It's this jacket, it's this jacket. I don't know if you can tell, but I think that for a man, it's important that you wear like a jacket. Now, don't just walk around in a little t-shirt. Have a jacket. Look like a little bit, don't look like a homeless bum. Like put a jacket on, but women will pick up on that if you have a jacket, if your clothes are fitted, if you take up more space. Those are all signs of dominance and strength. And those are signs of, like, if you as a man were looking for someone who was going to take you out of that blizzard, what kind of man would you look for? Someone like this who takes up space, or some guy bumbling around with a belly in a t-shirt? He's like, why don't they pick me? Well, you're not up to the task. So in order to get a woman, you have to be up to the task. You have to be able to handle the woman. And that's kind of what we look for. Like, can this guy handle me? Can I trust this guy? Do I feel safe with this guy? And that usually takes time to develop. You don't just pick up a guy in a grocery store and go like, yeah, I feel safe with this guy. You kind of got to know someone. That's the healthy way to do it. I think. So hopefully this will explain to men a little bit more about why we're selective and the feeling that we have to have about you, in the same way that you're selective when you're looking for a business partner, for buying a property, starting a business, or a survival type of game. And of course, if you're in certain professions, you already have men who are vetted to protect you. They're vetted, and I want to vet you before I let you fuck me. You also have to be vetted. That's every woman speaking to every man. I'm speaking on behalf of women here, that we need you vetted, that you care about us. Another thing too is, for women, our sexual interest starts in our hearts, but that's going to be a separate video. This one was just going to be about what it's like to be in a body where sexually I'm going to be the submissive one, where I have to trust my body to you. And don't forget that men can hurt us with their penises, that they can be selfish in bed and not care about our pleasure, that there's an orgasm gap, and that the sex can be very mediocre. Don't forget all that. But I'm just talking about the initial contact. Who do I trust with my body? That's the question. Who do I trust with my money? Who do I trust with my body? Who do I trust with my safety? And for a woman, having sex with a man absolutely requires, do I feel safe with this man? Do I feel safe, not just that he's not going to hurt me on purpose, but accidentally? Is this man strong, like a tender defender? That's it. Because a lot of you guys are way too rough on the pussy. But we instinctively have this whole body thing of, is my body, I'm not even talking about the pussy here. Am I safe with this man? Can I trust my body to this man? Okay, unless you're a guy that wants to be pegged and roughed up, or pegged, that's a different story. But I think that's something women do kind of like as a change of pace. We're not like, I want to find a guy I can peg and dominate. But if you're a submissive guy and you want a woman like that, this video isn't for you, because I do not know any women who like being dominant with men, unless they're women who hate men and they want to control them. It's in our nature to be submissive, in my opinion. And thank you for watching my video.